your flags up in the sky. And wave 'em side to side. Show the world where you're from. Show 'em where you're from. Show the world we are one. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. One love, one life, one world, one fight. Whole world, one night, one place. Brazil, everybody put your flags in the sky and do what you feel. It's your world, my world, our world today, and we invite the whole world to play. It's your world, my world, our world today, and we invite the whole world to play. Es mi mundo, tu mundo, el mundo de nosotros. Invitamos a todo el mundo a jugar. Jenny, dale.
One night, watch the world unite. Two sides, one fight, and a million eyes. Full hearts gonna
Right, I agree. Possibly, very possibly the best intro music ever. Israel, if you want to turn that down for us, please. Thanks so much. I was involved in the discussion trying to choose today's intro music, and I'll tell you, I didn't choose that, but I'm really glad that whoever did was involved in the conversation. So glad to see everybody joining us. Glad you're all using the chat to share where you're joining us from. If you're here for CSAC's All In and Ready webinar, then you are in the right place. You're here this month for October's Student Center Focus on California's undocumented students and immigrant families. I'm Kristen Tremarchi. I am part of the executive office team at the California Student Aid Commission, and I get to welcome you to today's webinar. If we'll please switch to the next slide. So our meeting reminders, we are here starting just a few minutes after 9, so everyone has a chance to settle. We do endeavor to get you out of here by 10 a.m. While we're using the chat for some informal communication, we want to ask you to please use the Zoom Q&A for any specific questions that you have. We have staff standing by ready to respond. As you all know, when you joined, we are recording. Then this webinar will be placed on our YouTube channel, which is listed on the slide in front of you. And for anyone who may need it, please use the meeting toolbar to toggle captions on and off if you need them for any reason. And then finally, there's our handle. We ask you to and invite you to join us on social media at CA Student Aid. Next slide, please. So for anyone unfamiliar with the California Student Aid Commission, we are the principal state agency responsible for administering financial aid programs for students attending public and private universities, colleges, and technical education schools in California. Our mission is promoting educational equity by making post-secondary education affordable for all Californians. Next slide, please. If anyone's seen some of the promotion that we've sent out, we do have registration now open for our 6th annual California College Affordability Summit. This is a free event. It is virtual, and the registration is open. You can access that through our, actually it's in the chat right now. So we will post that a few more times throughout the event today. Please be sure to go register today and share this information with your networks. We want to make sure everyone has the opportunity to join us for a full day of informative information. Next slide, please. All right, for today's agenda, we have welcome and opening remarks from our very own Commissioner Vang. Also, our Executive Director, Dr. Daisy Gonzalez. You'll also be hearing from CSAC staff, Jessica Deichman. She'll be discussing how to build on the launch week momentum from the October 1 opening of the financial aid applications. Then we'll move to Dr. Jessica Moldoff, who will be providing a 2026-27 FAFSA-CADA pulse check and providing some resources. And then from Alessandra Morrison, she'll be highlighting support for this month's student-centered population. And then we're excited that you'll be able to hear from some special guest speakers, Gilberto Luna, Liliana Iglesias, and Jerry Reyes. And then finally, we will wrap up with Chief Deputy Director, Catalina Missler. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to Dr. Gonzalez. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. Good morning. Buenos dias a todos. Hi, Fermin. I see you out there from our colleagues in San Bernardino. Good morning, and thank you for joining us today. We know there are many colleagues who didn't make it to today's webinar, so let them know that this webinar recording is on our YouTube channel. And I just want to give a shout out to Kristen, who has now been leading us through these webinars for almost more than a year. We've now made it to October. We started these as a way to stay connected with each of you, to provide you real-time information. But there's a whole team behind the scenes that has, number one, been doing all the planning, and two, gets us through these webinars. So please share some love for those colleagues and staff at CSAC and all of our partners who are here with us today. And I love seeing all the different communities that you're all coming from. This morning, as we get started, as you know, every month we have a commissioner from the California Student Aid Commission join you. Number one, to make sure that you get to know them, and two, so that you know who is leading this work at the statewide level. And this morning you have Dr. Vang, Commissioner Chao Vang. He's a former first-generation college student, a four-time alum of CSU Sacramento, where he received his doctorate in educational leadership and policy studies, a master's degree teaching credential, an undergraduate degree, all at CSU Sacramento. And like many of you, he serves students directly on campus, and you won't be surprised, but at California State University, Sacramento, where he serves as the Assistant Vice President of Educational Equity Programs and Student Success. But I want to make sure that you welcome him and that you know exactly who he is. He has these roles, but he has also had many roles in K through 12 and higher ed. He sees the full spectrum from K-16 systems, where he served at Natomas Unified School District and Sacramento City Unified School District, to the role that he has today at one of the most critical CSUs in our state. He's a distinguished leader and author, where he has published many publications, and through his roles has served at the state level and nationally. We get to call him Commissioner, but today is very special because we have a very clear theme for this webinar. You can see it in our backgrounds. He served as a career counselor in the Career Center. He was also an assistant director to the Migrant Student Leadership Institute. And so we're honored to have him welcome you today. Welcome, Commissioner Vang.
Thank you. Good morning and welcome to the California Student Aid Commission's All In and Ready webinar series, California's 2026-27 CADA and FAFSA launch. I'm Dr. Chao Vang. I'm the Assistant Vice President for Student Success and Academic Excellence at Sacramento State and Commissioner with the California Student Aid Commission. I want to thank everyone for being here, for all the work you do for our students. As a former counselor and educator, I want to recognize the work you all do to help students pursue their educational journey after high school. This month, the Commission is celebrating National Hispanic Heritage Month by reaffirming our commitment to serve undocumented students and immigrant families. Undocumented students and students from mixed status families often face fear and uncertainty around completing government applications, especially given the current political climate. However, here in California, we have a process designed to help you and help protect undocumented students and their families apply for financial aid resources. And it starts with the California DREAM Act application. With that, I would like to express my appreciation for today's speakers. Gilberto Luna Moses from Consulado General de Mexico in San Diego, Jerry Reyes from Student Senate for California Community Colleges, and Liliana Iglesias from UC Berkeley's Undocumented Student Program. We value our partnership with the Mexican consulates, student organizations, and Dreamer Resource Centers who are on the front lines and doing critical work to support us here at the Commission. We appreciate your dedication and all the work you do in protecting our students, serving our immigrant families, including promoting resources and tools for undocumented students and their families. The commitment for student success and college access does not go unrecognized. As a first-generation college student and graduate from Central Valley, specifically Stockton, California. Thank you for your commitment to serve all California students and families. Lastly, it is very important for me to thank the commission staff for all their hard work during this time to ensure students are able to access financial aid. As we are launching the financial aid cycle, we encourage students and families to apply for financial aid, that it is safe to complete the California DREAM Act application or FAFSA, and that you could get help pay for college. The Commission remains steadfast and student first and a resource to help financial aid professionals, students, and families make informed decisions on financial aid. We are here to help you. Thank you for being here. I will turn it back to Executive Director Dr. Gonzalez.
Thank you, Commissioner Vang, and thank you for joining us this morning. I'm going to keep us moving, colleagues, and please thank you for all the emojis and the ongoing conversations that you all are having on our chat and the Q&A. Next slide, please. We are very intentional this morning in thinking about what's going on in the world. What do we wake up with and carry every morning? Why? Because we are human beings. And there is no way that we can ignore what's happening around us. But this morning, I want us to really think about what's happening around us as a source of fuel. It's supposed to energize us. It's supposed to not really transform us, but really help us evolve. And I choose to wake up every single morning thinking about it in this manner. Some mornings are really, really hard. You know, yesterday I had the honor of spending most of my day in San Bernardino. We had all of the Inland Empire leaders, all the elected officials, all the K through 12 and higher ed, our CalSOAPs, our regional community organizations, even our partners in business community that were all brought together with one clear purpose: to help students make college more affordable by completing their financial aid application. But we were also in different communities. We were in Santa Barbara, we were in Ventura, we were in San Diego. And I'm sharing some photos with you because that's what inspires me every morning. You see on here other commissioners, other staff representing this work. We are the ones that are really reaching out to other human beings to have hope. And when I think about today's theme, very intentional here in our background, this month, we are dedicating our webinar to not just uplift, but to, number one, be louder and bolder to empower those students to, number one, have clear information, but two, to know that higher education is possible for them. That's what we're here to do this month. So I'm going to ask the team to go to the next slide, because when I woke up this morning, I had to recenter myself in the work that we're here to do. My job, the job of the CSAC team, because of our commissioners, because of our mission here at the California Student Aid Commission, is to create equitable access, equitable support, and equitable success for students as they are trying to enroll and stay enrolled in higher education. That's what I'm here to do. Next slide, please. Once I grounded myself in that work, I needed to come back to the reality, to really think about what is the data that informs us. Colleagues, we have been a little bit silent, watching everything going on around us. But this morning, we're sharing a lot of information with you. This is what is happening to the California DREAM Act application to undocumented students in our state. On this slide, you're seeing the number of applications declining, not just in the last year or two. They have been declining very intentionally and by design when, at the federal level, we didn't have options for students who were DACA. When we are seeing all of the evolution of the last few months here in our country, and there is no other way to boil this. There is no other way to show you this than to show you the decline. The number of applications have been going down historically. The first-time applicants also declining, and that should concern all of us, K through 12 and higher education and college access professionals in general, period. And when you look at those renewals, they're also declining. And we don't have to ask why. We know why. But the beauty about knowing and admitting the reality is that we then get to do something about it. And that is what today's webinar is about. We are uplifting the reality of what is happening to our undocumented students, and to our migrant families, because those of us who are lucky enough, who have made it through, those proud first-generation college students who then became first-generation professionals, all of us get to wake up and we get to do something about it. Next slide. So what does that look like? You heard Commissioner Vang share that we have two different options for financial aid applications. The first one is the FAFSA. The other one is the California DREAM Act application. We have shared with all of you before that the California DREAM Act application is open. It opened on October 1, and that yes, undocumented students, U visa holders, or temporary protected status students, or mixed status families, they can all access financial aid through this application. For mixed status families, it is a choice. It is a safe choice. The California DREAM Act application is California's solution. We do not share students' information or their families' information with any other state agency. This to me is really important. When I entered the foster care system, I went in and out of that system more than 4 different times. But one of my earliest memories was being a second grader, helping my mom write bills. I could do cursive. And so every month she would sit me down and I would write the checks for a mortgage payment, for electricity. She only had a second grade education. That was it. My father never went to school. And so here I am today with all of you to tell you that we have a choice and we have a responsibility. But we do this work together. Why? Because the families that we are trying to serve, the students that we have to help stay enrolled, they don't have a choice right now. They have lived in the shadows, and now more than ever, they are continuing to do so. So this work, this information, that the California DREAM Act application is open, that it is safe, is very important. Next slide, please. Now, what does that mean? Grounding ourselves in that reality. We know California DREAM Act applications are down. We know that there is a viable pathway, but what does that mean? It simply doesn't make a lot of sense, to be honest, because in our state, we actually have approximately 14,000 undocumented high school graduates every single year. And when you looked at those numbers, it just doesn't make sense. Renewals are down. First-time CADA applicants are down. But there are actually between 80 to 100,000 undocumented students enrolled in colleges and universities right now. And so we ground ourselves in that work, understanding that also we have to open up the door for other families, like mixed status families, who are also facing unique situations. And that given our landscape, things are getting a lot more complicated real fast. And that this is an opportunity for us to evolve, to think about how we can better serve these families. Next slide. So thinking about our work, if we want to truly help families, remember, we evolve, we transform, we learn from our past. Here in California, we have a past history in financial aid where we have had to pivot many times, where we have had to open doors many times, whether it was the DREAM Act Incentive Grant, many of you know it as DSIG, or creating the California DREAM Act in 2011, not that long ago, expanding the middle class scholarship, or in the California DREAM Act application and opening it up to students and families, which only happened in the last 2 years. We are now in a moment, and especially this month, where we have to think about our future. We have to think about how we take that data that I just showed you to make data-informed action, being intentional about our outreach, while aligning our policy changes and our mission-aligned partnerships. So that is what today's webinar is about. We are combining these 4 strategies and inviting you to lead something very similar in your communities. You take a look at your data, think about your outreach in an intentional way. Who do you need at the table? Who are those partners? And then you think about those policy changes that you're going to need. And if we play a role in that, we are here to help. Next slide, please. Speaking of policy change, I want to make sure that you all know something that we are going to be engaging in this next legislative session. You saw me show you the DREAM Act Service Incentive Grant, a program that was not created too long ago, created by Monique Limon, Senator Limon now. And at the time, it was a program that was really innovative, but now we have to modernize it. It's time for us to think about how we help students afford their education in a meaningful way, and that means changing the award amounts. It also means that we have to modify the method of payment We can't tell students volunteer, but we're not going to pay you until the end. That doesn't help them stay enrolled or eat or be in a safe environment. And it's about our implementation. I see many of you who are here with Dream Resource Centers, EOPS. How do we work with you differently so that we can help students connect the dots? And more importantly, so that they know that they're not alone. I'm going to ask the team to go to the next slide because I want to hand it over to our Deputy Director, Jessica Deichman, who will be representing much of this work at the policy level. But we mentioned intentional outreach. And so we want you to know that you're not alone. We have tools, and that's exactly what Jessica is going to share. Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Next slide, please. Hi, everyone. Jessica Deichman. Nice to meet you all. So I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the options we have available as you're reaching out to students who may need a little additional help. So we realize that sometimes students are still confused if the CADA or the FAFSA are right for them. And they have more questions than just, what is the form and what's on it. So we're developing here at Student Aid Commission a high-touch student support model. So you'll see at the bottom of our webpage when it says FAFSA or CADA, you can click the bottom of the box, and it will send you to our live student support people who can help you decide if the CADA or the FAFSA is right. We're going to continue developing this throughout the process this year. And eventually we'll have sort of a wizard where people can enter their information and they can understand the risks and the benefits to filling out either application. So look for that on our website, and it's just our way to make sure that we can give these students the extra support from CSAC in a safe place in a way without having to fill out an application. So getting the information before they fill out the application so they can make an informed decision. Next slide. And then as Dr. Gonzalez mentioned, we're going to be focusing on a group of students every month that needs a little more uplifting. So this is our plan for the next year. This month we are in undocumented students and immigrant families. Next month we're going to be focusing on veterans and military families. And this is just focusing in on a group of students that maybe needs a little bit additional help, looking for ways to remove the barriers that may exist for them in higher education. So you'll be seeing that implemented into all of our communications throughout the next year. Next slide. And then in this, the ways to uplift student populations, kind of how are we going to do that, right? So the first is we're going to be looking to foster our existing and create new partnerships. So example, this month, we invited the Mexican Consulate and Undocumented Resource Centers, as well as student organizations, to speak at this webinar. So if you're interested in partnering with us for a future webinar, please reach out. We would love to have you and partner with you in ways we can. We'll also be sharing data and guidance on the best practices. So having readily available resource guides that kind of help students find the resources, students and professionals find resources that may be available to them. My team and I will be also working through monthly social media toolkits. So we'll have student stories and ready to post captions in various languages. So that will be available for us as well. And we'll be hosting more Instagram Live. I'm not sure if any of you got to attend our last one last week. It was very well attended, but we've noticed that that's the way we can reach students. And so we'll be doing Instagram Lives to try to make sure that we're providing information to students in a way that is very accessible to them. So if you're on social media, I encourage you to follow us and retag us at California's CA Student Aid. Next slide. And then this is just an example of the new social media toolkit. Once I end my presentation here, I'll give you a link to our website. You are welcome to download these graphics and use them in your materials as you communicate with students. As you can see, they're available in multiple languages. And it's just really trying to showcase some of the student stories, some of the information, and make it in an easy to digest publication that you can help students see where their resources are and see what's available to them. Next slide. So then quickly, I wanted to walk through 3 actions you can do today. So you can attend our events like this one. We have lots of events throughout the year. Castro College, Train the Trainer. You can invite us to your event. We're always happy to come and attend your event or provide materials. And please reach out if we can do anything to support you at your event. You can also, as I mentioned before, use our social media toolkit. You can tag us on social media. You can repost our posts. We'll engage with you, I promise. My team is really great about it. And lastly, we encourage you to incorporate the student population that we're focusing on into your newsletters, your digital resources, your printed resources. Just really trying to create a momentum behind that throughout the state for the group of students that need our help. Next slide. So just to focus on our why. So as I mentioned, October is our undocumented students and immigrant families. And why is because they face additional barriers. It's a really hard time right now where nobody's sure what's safe, nobody's sure how to move forward in the current climate. So we're looking for ways to remove barriers, to offer a safe option like CADA, and also just to educate. We want students to get as much financial aid as they qualify for. So we want them to do the FAFSA if they can, but also knowing what comes along with that and making a choice that is clear-eyed and having all the resources available. So really, you see here that there's 35,000 CADA applications and there's approximately 100,000 students. We would really like to get that number up. We'd like to remove the barriers so that people know that there is an option for them to continue and pursue their higher education here in California. Next slide. So this is just kind of a summary document about ways to keep the momentum as we're moving through each month with our student population that we're working to uplift. So coordinated statewide support, that's kind of what we're doing now, trying to make sure that everyone is rowing in the same direction. And new partnerships, I mentioned that earlier. There's a lot of resources throughout the state, and sometimes it can be hard to find all of them. So as we're focusing on the group of students, we'll also be focusing on ways to make the information gathered together for them and easy to digest. So just making sure that we have the resource development for the students. And again, as my colleague, Dr. Moldoff, will mention later, we are using data-driven strategies. So my team and her team are working closely together to see which counties and which areas of the state are having the most trouble completing the FAFSA or the CADA. And we will be doing additional outreach in those areas to make sure that just the message is getting to those students and they're able to know what options are available to them. Next slide. And then this is just kind of a summary of what I just talked about. We want to amplify our student voices. We want to have students on social media and our marketing materials that can relate to other students and show them that higher education is possible for them. We want to make sure that we answer key questions, as I mentioned before, going into the FAFSA or the CADA with all the information, all of your questions answered, understanding what your options are, and just really using social media as a tool to boost awareness for all of the options that are available to our California students. So again, I will, you see the toolkit down in the bottom of the slide, but I'll go ahead and drop it in the chat as well. Please feel free to go there. We will be constantly updating it throughout the year. And always, please feel free to reach out to my team if you'd like to partner with us. I welcome that, and I look forward to hopefully meeting some of you. And with that, I will pass it to my colleague, Dr. Moldoff.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I am Dr. Jessica Moldoff. I am the Deputy Director of Research Analysis and Program Innovation. So I'm here today to remind you all of where we ended up last year, as well as some of the tools you have in your toolkit for data this year. So next slide, please. So we saw a great rebound from the troubles of the Better FAFSA rollout in 24-25. For 25-26, we reached 72.7% high school completion by September 2nd. By June 30th, we were at 66%. So we saw a lot of growth for those students who we targeted for our community college entitlement program. Also, this is an 11% increase over 24-25. So again, a really solid rebound from the 24-25 year, really seeing a lot of stabilization here in California and really throughout the nation. We're currently ranked 7th in the nation for 25-26. At one point, we had reached up to number 4, but hoping to reach even higher heights, of course, for 26-27, especially given the tools we have at our disposal. So for the next slide. So of course, as many of you know, our main dashboard is the Race to Submit. So this is where you can see for public high school seniors, we have data of senior enrollment for every high school and district and county. So we're able to benchmark those numbers that we have for FAFSA and CADAs, both submissions and completions. And then that data is also can be seen by county, by district, by school. And this is how we run our competition, our friendly competition for high schools here in California. But I also want to remind you for the next slide that last year we also implemented a series of heat maps. So the Race to Submit is a great reference for numbers, but if you're more of a visual person, then we have a couple different heat maps available on our website. One of them is by county, another one is by school district. These heat maps show for 25-26 compared to 24-25. But we decided for a little bit of extra challenge this year, rather than benchmarking against 25-26, we're going to benchmark 26-27 against the 23-24 cycles. So that last normal cycle we had before FAFSA simplification, it also makes the data make it a little bit more sense, because then we can finally do a year-over-year comparison. Since this year for 26-27, we are returning to the traditional October 1st to March 2nd timeframe for our priority deadline. And of course, we'll also still be tracking closely for that September 2nd deadline for our community college students. And I also wanted to highlight, I know the school district map is a little busy, but if you go to the next slide, there is a filter on that map where you can filter it by county. So this is a really great way for you at the local level, you all at the local level, to really focus in on which particular school districts within your particular county are seeing either highs or lows comparing to 23-24. So for example, here in Sacramento, we're identifying Natomas as needing some additional outreach assistance. And in Riverside, there's also a fair number of high and low counties. So we're hoping that by releasing this kind of tool that you all will be able to target or to focus your resources, your limited resources, and where it is needed most. Of course, the FAFSA's only been open for about 9 days now, the FAFSA and CADA, so we don't have any data to show, but I am looking forward to coming back here at next time to actually provide some current information. But again, these dashboards are always live. They're updated multiple times a week. And we already are reflecting data for 26-27 in these dashboards. I think Race to Submit is going to take another week or so, but you can always use our dashboards here. And again, I'll post the links in the chat if they're not already there, so you can see where things are heading. So far, we're looking pretty good compared to 23-24. So full steam ahead. All right, and I think now I'm going to pass it over to Alessandra Morrison.
Good morning, everyone. Alessandra Morrison, Associate Deputy Director for the Program Administration and Services Division. Thank you for joining us today. Let's go to the next slide. I'm going to go rather quickly on some of these slides because I want to make sure we have time for our partners joining us today to share all the great resources that they have available to students. So here are just some important reminders to ensure undocumented students are aware of the resources available to them through AB 540 and the California DREAM Act application. As you work with your students, please be sure to highlight the different financial aid opportunities available through the California DREAM Act. And please clarify that the school attendance requirement under AB 540 is beyond high school and could combine community college attendance along with K-12 and adult schools in California. Also, please refer them to on-campus support, such as a Dreamer Resource Center or the Financial Aid Office. Next slide, please. Here's a closer look at how the California DREAM Act application and AB 540 provide access to students to qualify for in-state tuition, institutional aid, and critical state financial aid programs such as the Cal Grant and Middle Class Scholarship. The DREAM Act application remains available to students from mixed status families who may need or want an alternative to the FAFSA. And just a reminder that the information provided on the California DREAM Act application continues to be protected to the fullest extent of the law. Next slide, please. And when working directly with students through the financial aid application process or just providing general information about financial aid, language really matters. And we strongly encourage you to always say FAFSA or CADA and make your best effort to help students feel comfortable to ask questions and obtain the information they need to succeed in applying for financial aid. Next slide, please. And now I would like to introduce our partners joining us today and who will be sharing some best practices and tools to better support undocumented students and students from mixed status families. Next slide, please. The Commission partnership with the Mexican Consulate includes hosting local events through Cash for College workshops and recognize their partnership to provide day-to-day on-the-ground support for students and families in San Diego. So please help me welcome Deputy Consul General of Mexico in San Diego, Gilberto Luna Moises.
Thank you, Alessandra. Good morning, and I want to thank on behalf of the Mexican Consulate, Dr. Daisy Gonzalez, for inviting us to participate in this webinar. If I may, I would like to provide you with a brief overview of what we do at the Mexican Consulate here in San Diego. We're one of 53 Mexican consulates in the United States, one of 12 consulates along the U.S.-Mexico border. And this, of course, has great implications for the focus of our work of these 12 consulates. As you might imagine, the border dynamic takes a lot of our time and our resources, so we're very much focused on the situation at the border. We have about 140,000 people crossing every day, back and forth from Tijuana to San Diego and from San Diego to Tijuana for different reasons, work, stories, and all that. And that, of course, has a lot of potential for good things and a lot of potential for difficult situations, which take occupy the time of the consulate. But as any consulate in the world, any consulate from any country in the world, we have three main areas of work that are covered by the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations, which is the international instrument that allows us to work here in the United States, that allows us to work in any other country. And these three areas of work are basically documentation, protection, and community engagement. In the documentation area, what we do is we, of course, issue consular documents such as passports, birth certificates, powers of attorneys, wills, visas, and all that. The protection area, the protection department of every Mexican consulate, is in charge of providing consular assistance to our nationals, which could be legal advice, legal representation, visitation in the detention centers, visitation in hospitals, repatriation to Mexico if it is needed, the location of missing persons, even the transferring of human remains back to our country. So there are around 50 different consular protection services that we provide to our nationals. And what, perhaps the most important area that, has to do with our issue today, with our topic today, is the community engagement area. We have a community affairs department which is in charge of the program for Mexican communities abroad. This is a program that was created 30 years ago in Mexico, and it's basically the recognition that the Mexican community in the United States is a great asset for our country. We have about 39 people of Mexican origin living here in the United States. 1/3 of them, first generation, people born in Mexico who are now living in this country, and 2/3 of them already US citizens of Mexican origin. And we recognize that this Mexican diaspora is a very important element in our national development plans. After all, they are the natural customers for our products. They are the natural visitors to our touristic places. They are the natural partners of our businesses. They are the natural investors in our projects. So we're very much focused on keeping closer to this community. We're very much focused on keeping them close to Mexico, connected to Mexico, strengthening their ties to Mexico. And of course, we are very much interested also in helping them integrate more successfully in the new country in which they are living. We're convinced that a better integrated immigrant, one that has access to education, one that is healthy, and one that has, that is economically active, it benefits not only the immigrant himself, but of course the sending country and the receiving country. That's why we created this program for Mexican communities abroad, that became the Institute for Mexican Communities Abroad, and that has three main areas of attention: health, financial orientation, and education. In the area of health, we have at the consulate in San Diego a very strong program, that has been working for the last 25 years. That has a lot of partners, a lot of allied institutions that help us fulfill our mission. On the financial orientation aspect, in the financial orientation window, we are growing. You have a growing network of allies and partners that recognize the economic importance of the Mexican community, and that are helping us to, to provide the services that we want to provide in this area. And the educational area, we have created just recently our window, Ventanilla de Orientación Educativa, which is a window that provides, aims to provide information to students and families about educational opportunities at every level. We know the obstacles that the Latino community faces in terms of accessing education, higher education in particular, because of language barriers, because of lack of knowledge about the system, and because of real concerns about the cost of higher education. I was one of those persons who was concerned about the cost of higher education for my children, my three kids. But once I learned of the possibilities, and once I took advantage of all the resources that the institutions like CISAC offer, I was able to embark in this endeavor, which is a very, very important endeavor in the life of every family. Mexican consulates, as Alessandra was mentioning, Mexican consulates in California have already been working with the CISAC for many years, some of them for more than 15 years, in different areas of activities in the area of education, to provide access, to provide information to Mexican families, to Latino families on how to access higher education. And the consulate in San Diego, just started 5 years ago, working with CISAC in the organization of a university fair. It's a very important university fair for us, which allows us to provide information to families, to have them fill their applications, the FAFSA applications and the California Dream Map applications in situ, and who provides workshops in Spanish, so that our families, and particularly the parents, can understand the system and can see that it is possible to send their kids to higher education. We have been working with CISAC in that. We have, this in this year, October, November, December, and in these next few months, we have invited CISAC, to put a table, an information table at the consulate, so that they can, give information and allow people even to fill up their applications at the consular premises. We, at the consulate in San Diego, we have about 80,000 people that work, that come to visit the consulate for different reasons every year. So we are a very good place, where the Mexican community gathers, and we hope that CISAC will have a lot of people, will be able to help a lot of people in those next 3 months. And we also have at the consulate in San Diego, we have a very important program for scholarships, student scholarships, called Colibri. We have named it Colibri, and this is a program that has provided more than $450,000 in the past 5 years for first-time students, for low-income students, Latino students that are coming into college. But perhaps the most important message that I would like to give you this morning is the idea that the Mexican consulates in California are here to help. We have 10 consulates in California, as I said, in San Francisco, in San Jose, Los Angeles, Fresno, Oxnard, San Bernardino, Santa Ana, Calexico, and San Diego. So there are consulates all over the state, and we are there to help. Whenever you find, find a student or a Mexican family that has any problem that you cannot solve, that you don't know how to solve, because it is outside of your educational responsibilities, please keep in mind that the Mexican consulates in California can be a resource to you. We might have the answer that you're looking for. We might not have it, but we certainly will try and find a way to help you find the answer. We have a very strong protection department here in San Diego. We have very experienced consular officials that deal with more than 6,000 cases every year, so they know how to help Mexican families. And we have a very strong network of consulting attorneys and law offices that help us provide the legal orientation free of charge in pro bono. We even pay some, on a case-by-case basis, some consular representation, some legal representation before the courts. And we, of course, provide all the services of protection that the juris students might need. So please keep in mind that the consulate might be a resource for you. Please help us, continue helping us as the California Student Aid Commission has done in the past few years to fulfill our goal of providing access to Latino students for higher education. I will leave it there, and I will be open to any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Deputy Consul General. Just great to see so many community resources available to our students. So let's see, do I see any questions? We will keep moving the presentation. Thanks again so much for being with us today. We have our next partnership. So the Commission values our partnerships with the Dream Resource Centers across college campuses who are on the front lines and are critical to the work we do. UC Berkeley's Undocumented Students Program provides resources to undocumented students and serves immigrant families at Berkeley. I turn it now to Director Liliana Iglesias to share best practices, tools, and her experience on the ground.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. As was shared, my name is Liliana Iglesias, and I have the honor of serving as the director for the Undocumented Student Program at UC Berkeley. First, I want to share a little bit about me and what brought me to this work. I myself was born and raised in the LA area, Southern California, a proud daughter of Mexican immigrant parents, and I grew up in a mixed status household. Today, one of my parents continues to be undocumented, so seeing the challenges that my family experienced and that we went through really grounded me and fueled my motivation to go first, pursue higher education, and to come into this work of supporting students and undocumented students reach higher education. And yes, I'm happy to share about some of the resources and support we offer our students at Berkeley. So we provide holistic support to our students, which includes academic counseling, so guidance with courses, with financial aid, any questions students might have, housing, etc. We're here to provide information or hand them off, do a warm handoff to resources on campus who can best provide that answers for them. We also have mental health support. So we have 2 clinical psychologists that only serve our undocumented students and provide one-on-one appointments as well as group support for our students and psychoeducational workshops. Next, we have a partnership with the East Bay Community Law Center in Berkeley that provides free immigration legal support, consultations, full representation for students who are eligible to receive some relief and pursue that. We also offer financial support through our emergency grants. Students, even with the amazing support students receive through the California DREAM Act application, there could be a gap in students' aid between their cost of attendance and the aid they receive. So we provide emergency grants to help provide additional assistance to help cover basic needs, for example, medical costs or any unexpected expenses that come up for students and their families. Next, we have community events for students to connect with each other. And these can look very differently. There are paint nights, for examples. On Monday, students were making clay magnets with each other. So we try to bring the community to be together in different ways and to de-stress and engage, with arts or just other ways to relax with each other. We also provide experiential learning and professional development opportunities. And one of our programs that we are very proud of is the Transcending Beyond Berkeley Fellowship. So we partner with campus partners across campus for them to provide our students with a project that they're working on for the year. Students are able to receive a stipend of up to $7,000. And so they get both the financial support as well as professional development. So similar to DSIG, but in-house here. And lastly, our interns are the heart of our center within the Undocumented Student Program. They run a lot of the community events and workshops that I was referring to earlier, and also welcome students daily with a welcome face. And so our USP internship students can also intern here with the center and give back to their communities and create opportunities and events for their peers as well. So that's a little bit about what we provide. And again, it is to provide holistic support to our undocumented students. Next slide, please. Thank you. So I went over specifically the Undocumented Student Program at UC Berkeley, but very important to know that all public colleges and universities in California have at least one person who is meant to support undocumented students. So for your colleges or for the colleges and universities that students are applying to, let them know. And these are 3 websites that students can look at to see who might be the point person at the specific colleges and universities within California public that they are looking to apply. So that's all I have for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much again for those resources and all the work that you do to support students and families at UC Berkeley. And last but not least, we have our third partner here. As you know, the Commission is a student-first state agency who values and depends on our partnership with student organizations such as the Student Senate for California Community Colleges. The community colleges serve the most undocumented students and families across our higher ed segmental partners. And here with us is President Jerry Reyes of SSCCC to provide some remarks. Welcome, Jerry.
Yeah, thank you for having me here. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jerry Reyes, and I have the honor of serving as this year's president for the Student Senate for California Community Colleges. For those who are unfamiliar with the SSCCC, we are the official voice for the 2.1 million California community college students. We're broken down into 10 different regions across the state. Go from Region 1, which is in Northern California, Region 5 in Central California, and then Region 10 in the San Diego area. So as you can see, we represent the students at large. But more importantly, I stand before you today as a first-generation undocumented college student. I know firsthand what it feels like to constantly have to look over your shoulder, unsure of what spaces are safe or whether you belong in certain areas. That fear and uncertainty is something that is real to a lot of us, a lot of undocumented students, a lot of students with mixed status families. That's something that we live with every day. But when it comes to education, you should never have to feel that way. Navigating college, especially the financial aspect, is very tough. And it's okay not to know everything. I didn't know everything either. Like I mentioned, I'm a first generation student, so I had to figure things out on my own. I had to figure out how to apply for the DREAM Act. I didn't even know that was available, to be honest. How to access campus programs and just how to ask for help. And to be honest, it was very tough. It wasn't easy. Um, but if I didn't have access to the DREAM Act application, I don't know how I would have made it to college. You know, the financial aspect tends to be a barrier among a lot of students, and especially undocumented students and students from mixed status families. So if you're in that same situation, to all the students and even administrators are in here, like, please share this information out with your students. If you're in that same situation, if you're unsure of what to do or where to start, just know that help is available. Many campuses now have DREAM resource centers that are there specifically to help out undocumented students. Stop by, ask questions, send them an email if you're not comfortable being there in person. With how everything is, it's a valid reason why a lot of people aren't wanting to go to the college campuses. But you could always email them. You could always contact them via phone. Just talk to someone. Don't ever feel ashamed to ask for help. That's why they're there, to help out the student. And with being part of the SSCCC, it's opened a lot of doors for me. I've gotten to learn so much more about how the community college system works. I mean, being part of my local student senate and now the state senate, like, I've learned so much from local practices, regional and statewide practices, knowing what programs are available. And so, when students come together to advocate for change, you see positive results. But the work isn't done. It's far from over. We still have a lot to do to make some change, but we must continue to push for policies, resources, and support systems that uplift our undocumented students. So I'll leave you all with this. If you're eligible, please complete the California DREAM Act application or the FAFSA. Don't leave financial aid on the table. I can't stress it enough. Financial barriers is why a lot of students deter from going to college. So if there's something available, please use it. Whether it's even if it's an internship, a fellowship, whatever resources are out there, please take advantage of it. Ask questions, use your campus support systems, and more importantly, know that you belong here. So I'll leave my contact info in the chat if anyone wants to reach out, maybe have a conversation or has any questions. But again, thank you all for having me here today.
Thank you so much, Jerry, for sharing your personal experience and inspiring us all this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you to Gilberto, Liliana, and Jerry. Yes, I think coming straight from your heart of these experiences that you've encountered, and I'm just so happy that you can share your story and also encourage other students in the same walk you've had to be encouraged to also apply, and just to know that there's financial aid resources and all of the resources that we've shared here today, as well as many others. And that's why we bring these webinars to all of you. And I'm happy to see that we have over 500 participants today, and that number keeps growing. So continue to join. If you're new, tell a friend. Continue to have them join these webinars to learn more. And we at the commission here are doing what we can to bring these resources and information to educate all of you so that you can share with the students and families that you work with. So just continue to spread the word and continue to have more join here. There's a safe place here for you to find out information. And again, reminders, continue to use our website for all of these resources that were shared with you today, and we will continue to update the information as we learn about it as well. And attend our free statewide financial aid workshops. Those are available. Come to our website if you want to learn more, and if you want to also be help to train a trainer program to help you organize and help students and families fill out the applications, and to just learn about other deadlines and best practices. And sign up for our listserv, our CSAC listserv, so that you can receive all of the communications that we have on financial aid updates, changes to application deadlines, reminders, a lot of great information. And then really check to see track FAFSA and CADA submission rates. Checking your community and your areas of how local schools are doing and community colleges are doing in their students applying and submitting and completing the FAFSA or CADA application. That's how you can get involved, is really to track those numbers and see how they're doing and see what support they need. Next slide. And again, our next webinar is Thursday, December 11th. It will be Justice Involved Youth to Higher Education Success, starts with financial aid. So these are the population of students that we'll focus on in December, and we'll continue to with the monthly themes to identify a population of students that we're focused on helping and supporting, bringing on our partners too to share information on the work that they do and the resources that are available to the different population of students that we're focusing on. So again, we will see you next December 11th for our next webinar, and hope you can spread the word and have others join so that they can learn about all the valuable resources available to them. Thank you, and see you next time.